so excited there's actual sunlight out, but it's making a glare on my glasses. Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. As you can see, I have a microphone, finally. Wow. So I moved to Sweden a year and a half ago. I knew I wanted to move to Sweden many years ago, and I even lived in Stockholm at one point in 2014. I had studied the language back in the States, so I really thought like, okay, I have a good idea of Sweden and Swedish culture. And then I moved here and I still had culture shock. Turns out there's so many more things that you just don't learn about, which is why I love living abroad. I love that every day is just something new, and there's always kind of that like discomfort of trying to blend in and the language barrier and all of that stuff. But I thought, I've been here for a year and a half. I thought it'd be fun to kind of give the top 10 things that really stood out to me about Sweden and Swedish culture. And these are the things that you won't find in other YouTube videos or books, Yes, I could talk about Swedish Fika, like you'll learn that Swedes love Fika and the winter is really dark and they like to sing and dance around a pole in June, like they love to eat fish. Like these are the things that if you just look up Sweden, that's what you're gonna find. But no, I'm determined to give you insight into the things that you don't learn about in the books, the things I had to learn for myself, things that made me question just like, what did I know about Sweden before coming here? So without further ado, here is my top 10 things that I learned in my first year in Sweden. So the first thing on my list is customer service. Let me say, Swedish people are the nicest people. One of the first things I ever noticed about Sweden and Swedish culture is just how nice everyone is. Aww. I've since learned that some of it is actually just passive aggressiveness. No, they really are just the nicest people, and I still believe that. It seems like whenever I need to make a phone call for something that I need help with, it's gonna take about 4 or 5 phone calls because the first person I call will always send me to somebody else every time. So I had to call the university like, hey, like my payment, where is it? And they didn't know. So they sent me to a different lady and she didn't know. And so she's like, oh, you need to talk to this person. I'm like, okay, so I call that person and then that person will send you back to the first person and then they solve the problem. I like to call this little maneuver the Swedish shuffle. The first person you talk to is never gonna be the last person you talk to. Or sometimes it is the last person you talk to, but you have to talk to like 4 of their friends first. So that's number 1. That's number 1. I knew this a little bit before coming here, but Swedes don't use cash. And it's to the point where the majority of stores you go into won't take cash. I mean, yeah, there are stores that will take it, but it's usually the bigger stores. Grocery stores will always take cash, or like convenience stores. But for the most part, like even restaurants won't take cash. I know it's always fun to kind of take out the local currency when you're a visitor, but no, just keep your credit card and make sure you have a good international exchange rate. One of the things you might learn in like facts about Sweden or Swedish culture, like you'll learn that Sweden loves lines. They love queues, which I've always kind of heard about. And then I realized like it's extreme here. Like they love queues. Here's an example for you. Let's say I need to mail a package. And so you show up, there's no other customers in there. So you're like, okay, I don't need to take a queue number because I'm next. Then another customer comes in and they take a queue number, but I didn't take one. So then the employee comes out and they ring the next number, and it's the other customer because they took the number and I didn't. And then the customer looks at me all weird because I should be going first, and then I look like sorry. And then the employee has no idea what to do, and so the other person gets to go ahead of me. And this has happened several times. So now, even if I'm the only person in the store, I take a queue number. Swedes don't have water fountains? Yeah, so I don't know a single drinking song in English. Like, the closest I could think of is 99 bottles of beer on the wall, which no one actually sings ever. But no, Swedes have drinking songs, and they bust them out at every party. The most popular one for sure is called Helan Går. Helan Går, I've learned that Swedes love to sing when they drink. And they like to sing in general, which I think I could make a whole video on that on its own. Number 6, Swedes have something called a Swedish mile. So let me just say that I get made fun of all the time for being an American who uses the imperial system. Like, I get it. The imperial system is dumb. Like, it doesn't have any logic to it. And I think most Americans agree. Like, yeah, metric does make more sense, but we're raised to learn imperial system. Okay. All of that is to say that I then heard Swedish people talking about miles. And I was very confused because someone said that Stockholm was 20 miles away from Örebro. That's not true. Turns out Sweden has a Swedish mile, which is the equivalent of 10 kilometers. I guess when they said that Stockholm was 20 miles away, they meant 200 kilometers away. So now I'm like, that measurement seems to not serve any purpose at all. Like, just say 200 kilometers. So yeah, basically, the next Swedish person that makes fun of me for using imperial system, I like to remind them that they use Swedish miles, and it doesn't make any sense. Number 7, there's a sport called Padel, and Swedes love it. I'd never heard of this sport before moving here, and it's everywhere. I've done my research, and Padel does not exist in the States as far as I can tell. And it seems to be a weird hybrid of like squash, which I also don't know how to play squash, tennis, pickleball. I don't know how to play pickleball either. I don't know any of these, okay? So that's why they all seem the same to me. But basically, you are inside of like a cage. So that's why it's kind of like racquetball. Look, another sport. I don't know. You can use the walls in play, and it looks kind of like a tennis court as well.
Es Alejandro Galán, llega Velasteguín. Va por tres. Se prueba en el por tres. Pablo Lima descomunal. No puede ser lo que llegó este chaval. Llega Tapia, esa pelota la pone al rincón Lima. Le caga Galán. Nivel maestro. Nivel espectáculo. Gol.
So paddle gyms are like popping up everywhere. It's a good business to get into if you're looking to start a business. But my favorite place, based on the name alone, is called We Are Padel, and it just has a very untimely, memeable name. Number 8 is shoehorns. Why? Please tell me I'm not crazy. I've never seen a shoehorn in the States. The only time I've seen a shoehorn in the States was when I went to IKEA and I saw the shoehorns and I literally thought, who's buying shoehorns? Well, it all makes sense now. I didn't realize Swedes use shoehorns. I mean, I'm hoping you guys already know what a shoehorn is, but literally I was given this as like a housewarming present so that when I had friends come over, they could use this because I'm not using this. I just don't get it. That's all I have to say about it. I don't get it. I don't see the benefit unless it's for dress shoes. But they use these for every shoe, every day. They love shoehorns. I feel like I'm getting upset about this. Sorry, I need to calm down. Shoehorns! Bear with me here. You're just gonna have to wait for the example that I'll put into this video. But I've been watching Swedish television here, and they have similar shows to the States. They have a few of them that are kind of similar to cops, just like they follow police, they find citizens doing something, and then they need to be arrested or whatever. Anytime that they go up to an individual, they try to maintain their, protect their identity. So they'll blur their face, totally fine. They also add a modulation to their voice, like a robot modulation. So it's like their voice is really deep and it sounds like a robot and their face is blurred and it's a hot mess. And it's so bad that I can't listen to it. So just an example I will insert here.
Du kommer att göra det när rätt. Var på väg till bolaget då? Det är väldigt dramatiskt.
Tårtan hamnar på utsidan. Det är lugnt.
Jättefin.
Tack.
Det är min syster också.
Visst var söt? Det här är ju en tuff finne.
And it's not just this show. It's every show that kind of does this, where they're kind of confronting people. I can't watch any of them. And number 10, maybe this isn't a big, last but certainly not least. This is kind of least. No, one thing I've had to really get adjusted to here is that packages have to be picked up from the post office. I mean, I think there's some pros and cons because in the States, packages get stolen all the time when they're just left outside someone's door. So I do like that there is some security there that your package is safe and you have to show an ID when you pick it up. The downside is you always have to make a trip to go get packages. So, which I totally understand is a huge luxury in the States, but that's just something I've had to really adjust to since moving here. Shipping is almost never free. They just launched Amazon here just a couple months ago. So Amazon is still not really a thing here at all. So that's just been another thing I've had to get used to since being here. So yeah, that's my top 10 things. Honestly, this list could have been so much longer because I really do learn things every day, and that's what I love about being here. They're not even necessarily good or bad things. They're just differences, except for the customer service. Customer service, I feel could definitely improve. I just want to be able to make a phone call and have my issue resolved the first time. Please, Sweden, please. Thank you for watching. Do all the things that YouTubers tell you to do. Got the subscribe, comment. That's it. Anything you can do really helps. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hej då!